So, much of the last videos from last few days, actually. I mean, I can even tell from the quality, like, just now. I haven't really been that aware, like, I've just been kind of fogged because either doing these on no sleep or I'm concerned about a job or faxes coming through. So it's really been, these videos have been half-assed. Pretty much kind of like how I'm speaking right now. This thing. Or I presuppose what you already know what I'm going to say. Sometimes that's due to having to remake the video because it'll, you know, crash or whatever. Or kick me offline. So, going through, trying to go through, make a better video than I did before. Alright. Problems with the Quran, or Islam, actually, as presented by modern Sunni Islam. Well, I don't even want to get into addressing. Would it destroy Islam to the bone? Not exactly, because you'd still have monotheism, and a lot of, even the questions that I had when I was going to the mosque. Why should I take the word that's not in the Quran, or why does Muhammad need to be the best person ever, or why does he need to be flawless? If he's just a prophet, who cares? It's the message that counts, not whether it was flawless. You can look at the other prophets, and they weren't flawless. Strange thing is, though, Joshua Evans says, "Oh, look, the Bible reports these prophets as being drunk or this or that. See, we have in the Quran it shows them as not doing any of that. They're perfect," which I thought was very stupid of him to say. But the points of contention, okay, it's not just that all of the early coins have crosses and images of people on there, even though crosses are anathema, and so is making an image, any image. Again, they say today, oh, a photograph isn't the same as drawing an image because it's not your hand doing it. So it'd be something that you have to engrave, you'd have to make yourself, not just taking the picture. So they say, oh, pictures are fine. But drawing a picture, two-dimensional, one-dimensional, drawing Ziggy, no, you're not allowed to do that. Why do we see emperors on coins with crosses and stuff like this? Even if you want to say the Umayyads were total apostates, fine, whatever. But there's another problem. In the Quran, it says, it talks about Sodom and Gomorrah and the destruction that was brought, you know, at the time of Lot. It mentions them. It says, "Oh, you people of Mecca, you who pass by, you know, these destroyed cities day and night, they should be a reminder and a warner to you to abandon your idolatry." Wait, pass by them day and... You'd have to be extremely close to these cities to pass by them day and night. This is not just going on a pilgrimage route. You have to notice them daily. You have to be right by them. And the way that the polytheists are described, the polytheists of Mecca are described, they're described as, their lifestyle is described to us. They're agricultural. They're cultivating wheat, grapes, date palms, olives, all these types of plants, which Mecca is unsuitable for. You need a Mediterranean climate. So how are these people? It's like the problem with the Book of Mormon when it talks about horses and sheep and elephants and cows and wheat and barley. These aren't pre-Columbian things. These are post-Columbian things that got to America. This is after Columbus. The Book of Mormon's wrong. I'm not saying the Quran is wrong in its description of these people, but probably equidistant from modern-day Mecca and Medina was a city north of Medina that was called Mecca, and that the ancient Mecca is gone. It's much further to the north. And if they're retreating in safety to Medina, it makes more sense for them to head south to Medina than head north. Who are they running from in the south? So they're probably at the southern edge of the Dead Sea. It makes much, I mean, everything in the Quran indicates that they're at the southern portion of the Dead Sea. And even the ancient mosques have the Qibla pointing somewhere in, in the Negev or just south of there, which is the traditional home of the Arabs. It's not that far south. Arabs are mentioned in the Bible. They're just across the river, just outside the lands, just to the east. They're not to the far south. They're not in Yemen. They're not in Oman. They're not in these places. Anyways, the southern portion is very Jewish and Christian. Why would you have a hard time there? That brings up another point. These polytheists of Mecca, and just like when you hear Protestants talk about the Catholics, oh, the pagans, the Antichrist, they destroy the gospel of Christ, they hate Christ. Is that very true? Well, from a polemic perspective, they call them pagans and polytheists, and so you can understand why. But somebody who reading that hundreds of years and thousands of years in the future, they think they were actually polytheists. Again, these polytheists seem very, very Christian and Jewish. They once worshipped their ancestor was Abraham, and they still recognize Abraham and the prophets, but they added to this, and that they should get rid of their images and their intercessors of angels and ancestors. Time this is going on is the exact same argument is being made in Constantinople and in Antioch and in Alexandria. You have this issue of iconoclasm where you have the iconoclast saying, look, yes, we know, iconography and intercessions to the saints has been practiced for a very long time, but it's not the original belief. That you guys have stumbled into this. Which is the exact argument that the Quran makes. That's strange. These people are strange. These people who are getting called polytheists are strangely Christian and Jewish. And the same arguments that's being made against them are the same ones being made against the iconophiles. Those who use icons, those who love icons. And the same polemic thing, polytheist, pagan, is used against them. And the same language is used today against the Catholic Church. So it makes much more sense for when they say, oh, let's say Mecca is here, or Medina is here, Mecca is down here. No, Mecca is here, or Medina is here, and Mecca is up here, somewhere by the Negev, in the Black, or the Red Sea, the Salt Sea, the Dead Sea. It's right by the Dead Sea. And there's plenty of information to suggest that, and that they didn't initially even take southern Arabia until much later, as the coins point out. Not to mention, the names in the Quran are suspiciously Arabized Christian and Jewish names. Why would in this place that Abraham built, listen, it doesn't really mention that Abraham built the Kaaba, he just built a house. On the coins we see this happening too, this like Beth El, like this stone house, but it's not a Kaaba, it's not that far south. What is the first thing that's recorded by anybody that these invaders, Saracens, they're not even called Muslims. Muhammad is not mentioned. They're not called Muslims. Maghrib or Tayyid or Makra. And Islam doesn't get mentioned until 100 years after, at the earliest. So you don't have followers of Islam. You have the Saracenism or Hagarism or Mohammedism that these people are getting called. They're called the Hagarenes or the Ishmaelites or the Saracens. What is going on here? And the first thing they do is they clear away the Temple Mount. And we even have reports, yeah, that once where that beautiful temple stood, now stands this house of prayers. You described in the Al-Aqsa Mosque, and that's the temple that I showed. It's from, there's an exact replica of it in Baalbek, because they put the two temples of Jupiter, the Areopagita or whatever it's called, on top of the Temple Mount. They tore that down and they built their own thing. And that they Abdul Malik constructs the Dome of the Rock. Oh, he's just doing it on the foundations of the Baalbek, the temple to Jupiter. It's right there. I mean, the ruins are right there. Of course, you built that up. So you have these surprisingly Christian Jewish peoples who the Muslims don't even deny them. I mean, they can't. It's in the Quran. They say, "Oh, we're we're coming after them. We're the final revelation of the Christians and the Jews." Yet you're claiming these Meccans in the south, which were pagan polytheists, who weren't Jews and weren't Christians, knew of their father Abraham, but were totally pagan and polytheist in every way. Not to mention, there's a place where the Talmud was getting compiled called the Surah, called the city called Surah, and a place where the early Muslims ruled from, which was Hira, just exactly like the cave that Muhammad was supposed to get his revelations in, and strange things like this. And Khadija's uncle being, Waraq ibn Nawfal being a Christian clergyman. This is very strange. And this is right in the areas where the Ebionites and all these other heretics were kicked out to. A lot of the early writers that say, "Oh, the Muslims were friendly to us," are Nestorians and Arians. That's something to think about there. What is going on? People clearing away the ruins on the Temple Mount, building it up. All of their coins have crosses on them. And the inscription on the Dome of the Rock mentions Muhammad once, but it doesn't work as a name. But it would work at saying, "Praised be the servant of God." Jesus is not the Son of God, but just the servant of God. And then it goes all about Jesus after that. And then inscriptions in the Arabian Peninsula saying, "La ilaha illa Musa Rasulullah." Musa and Rasulullah. The Shahada was originally from Moses. And then they find coins saying, attributing Muhammad to being of Moses. Could be just saying, "Praised be to Moses." And the other inscription could be saying, "Praise be to Jesus." And it was an early form of Syro-Aramaic being pushed into Arabic. So, of course, 150 years later, when you have people just speaking Arabic, looking back, saying, "Oh, well, we got to consolidate these hadith and sirah," looking back and saying, "Oh, yeah, it was... this was a guy, Muhammad," because they weren't related to the family of Marwan that ruled for 150 years. They were people, the enemies, other people who came from a totally different part of the world. Well, now we seem to get a picture that is accurate to the first 200 years, what the first 200 years tells us. This is problem of the current Sunni Islam, the version of history that they give. I'm sorry that none of the evidence adds up. None of it. No archaeology, no early writings, nothing adds up to it. It's not like early Christianity where you get concise pictures constantly. It doesn't work like that. And I don't think this is to the detriment. This isn't a Christian view countering the Muslim view. This is what it is. I think the Muslims should rejoice at that and reform their religion once again.